me, and that was really what got me in Islam, is that I can be intelligent and knowledgeable and logical and also believe that there's a God. When I first was thinking about putting on the veil, I was kind of on the fence. I know that a lot of Muslim women don't necessarily wear the veil, so I didn't know if I was going to. And I was talking to my friend at the time, my husband now, and I kept asking him, you know, what is the proper way to do it? What is the good way to do it? And he said to me, you know, when you go into a diamond store and the diamonds are covered and they're very expensive and you can only hold one in your hands unless you're actually going to take it home with you and have it. And I said, yeah, I know that. And he goes, that's a woman who wears a scarf. And that story really hit me. And I feel like it's really true, because when I first came to campus, I was always comparing myself to women. It was always so competitive. And now when I'm covered, I feel like all that matters is what's in my mind and what's in my heart, and not what I look like. And I get so much respect. People open doors for me. Men, they look at my eyes. They don't look at what I look like. And it's really nice, because now my husband, he has the diamond, and he has my mind, and he has my spirit.
إيلين أخت كايلا الصغرى تبلغ من العمر 17 عاما، وهي طالبة في الصف الثالث الثانوي، كما أنها عازفة كمان ماهرة، وقد اختارت عدم اعتناق الإسلام.
As a kid growing up, we weren't really exposed to any particular section of religion. If anything, we were mostly raised atheist. Mom saw a lot of the fallacies that took place in a lot of the major world religions like Christianity. So we were kind of taught to not buy into anything that didn't make logical sense. And when she found Islam, she found something that made sense to her, because I think she always felt a presence of God but didn't know how to identify it. So it's kind of confusing when I've been raised in an atheist house and then everyone picks up and converts, but we never really had any strong religious figures. My father, my biological father, is Christian, but he's like a lot of Americans that don't go to church, have never read the Bible. My grandpa is a very strong Seventh-day Adventist, so the only type of religion class I'd gone to, you know, pre-Islam was Seventh-day Adventist Sunday classes, but other than that, not too much.
Me and my sister, actually, she's my best friend. She hasn't converted to Islam. Her belief system is very different from mine, but she's something called straight edge, and straight edge means that you don't drink and you don't do drugs, and she's very strict. And so what that's allowed for us, as our relationship goes, is our friends do the same things. You know, when we hang out, we go bowling, we don't go to parties, you know what I mean? So it's allowed us to really maintain that bond and maintain that friendship.
Well, with my involvement with Islam since my family converted, it used to be a lot stronger when they first, you know, because I wanted to check it out for myself. I actually went to class and everything, you know, every week mostly to Islam classes taught at the mosque with my mom. And since then, it didn't click with me, which is not a big deal, but I go during special events like Eid and stuff like that, and when my mom asked me to. But as far as involvement goes, my family tends to be able to put aside we call it the Muslim hat, when making decisions with me.
You know, she's really respectful. She'll come to classes, she'll come to events with us, she'll be a part of the community with us, and same with her feelings and her way of life. She you know, we'll support her when she wants to go to a rock concert, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just kind of this balance, and we kind of feel like if we ever expect her to convert to Islam, it's not by forcing her, and if anything, that would make her resent it. And so we embrace what she believes. We're proud of her. She's smart, she's beautiful, she's talented, and if she ever comes to Islam, alhamdulillah, like, that's great, you know, but we're just going to let it be what it is.
حل شهر رمضان وبيج، تيم وكايلا يصومون من الفجر وحتى غروب الشمس، ويقيمون الصلاة في مسجد أبي بكر أكبر مساجد دنفر. هذا المسجد مقر الجالية المسلمة في ولاية كولورادو.
Ramadan has been a very influential part of my journey to Islam. This is a month of mercy. All your sins can be forgiven. It's a time for reflection, to look in on yourself and find where are you maybe going astray. How can you straighten yourself back on the straight path? How can you be better and worship Allah more? And it's helping you bring yourself closer to God, being more aware of God's presence and how fortunate you are to have the blessings that He's given to you.
Most Muslims during Ramadan, they like to come to the mosque and break their fast instead of doing it at home. They bring the food here, or sometimes the cooking is going on in the kitchen. And then when we break the fast, then everybody share. It's not that people don't have food at home, but they rather come here, that sense of community.
وقد ساعد محمد الكثير من الأشخاص في التعرف على الإسلام. سألناه عن عدد الأشخاص الذين اعتنقوا الإسلام حديثاً والذي شهده منذ أحداث 11 من سبتمبر.
After 9/11, things changed, because so much publicity was out there about Islam. Even though a lot of it was negative, nevertheless, many people got curious about it. So the curiosity, resulted in people studying about Islam. So lots of people studied about Islam. So the number of people coming to the mosque and converting to Islam actually tripled since before 9/11.
One of the things that needed to be taken into account as converting to Islam is that in the United States there is some very negative images within some aspects of the communities about Islam and Muslims themselves. I was actually very surprised to see just how tolerant within the United States the people in general are of all types of religion. This is a country that was built on freedom of religion. On all the banknotes it says "In God we trust." It doesn't say "In Jesus we trust" or anything like that. It's more open to God, but everybody does have a right to practice their own religion.
I think that the people in this country, Muslims, whether they immigrated here or those who convert to Islam, I think they have better opportunities here to practice their religion than sometimes in Islamic countries. There's a good sense of community here in the mosques, and they learn Islam as a religion or as a way of living, a complete way of living, which Islam is, not as a culture. Because sometimes in Islamic countries, we practice Islam like a culture. Everybody's doing this, so I'm doing it too, without knowing why. But the American Muslims, they're not like that. They're very unique in this area because many of them, especially when they convert to Islam, what's the reason to convert? Nobody's making them to convert. They're doing it on their own. It's a choice. They make a choice and they want to follow this. Well, if you want to follow a religion by your own choice, of course you want to learn and you want to practice it the right way.
When talking to some people, they don't necessarily understand their introduction to Islam or everything that they've ever heard about it might have come across some of the news channels. Some of those news channels are not particularly favourable towards the religion, and I found that put a great responsibility on me to be able to teach people further about the religion, and it also gave me an opportunity to draw on my sort of Christian background that I've got, that I could understand what their beliefs, whether they're practicing them or not, and be able to help take those and relate them towards Islam and explain that really it's a continuation of the other two monotheistic faiths.
There's extraordinary beauty within Islam that I think most Westerners never get to hear about. And it's an incredibly peaceful religion, which I think also most Westerners don't get to hear about.
Coming to Islam brought the questions of how would I be treated within the community, how would people see me. And there's a number of stereotypes that can be brought off some of the channel news groups of that everybody's a mad bomber and that they're going to go out there screaming at people and that they are completely intolerant, that women are oppressed within the religion. And I was very relieved myself to find that that's not true.
Before I started wearing a headscarf, the last time a stranger opened a door for me was when I was in my 20s. Now, every time I come to a door where there's a man coming out, he opens the door for me. And I don't know if it's a startle effect or what, but people give me more respect. With a headscarf, I get more personal space. I wouldn't be comfortable without it at this point.
As an American Muslim family, we found that really a lot of things that we expected to change haven't. There is a lot of tolerance within or for our religion within the country. There are times when we'll be driving along in the car and I'll have a car filled with women with their hijabs on and things, and that will get a couple of double takes from people. Walking down the supermarket when we're dressed, we'll generally just get double takes, and that's as far as I've found that it's gone.
بعد شهر من الصيام أقبل صباح عيد الفطر، وحضر أعضاء الجالية المسلمة إلى فندق محلي لأداء الصلاة العيد. وقد ارتدى الأشخاص الذين انتقلوا إلى هنا من مختلف البلدان ملابسهم بأساليبهم التقليدية، وتدفقوا إلى داخل الحجرة الكبيرة لأداء الصلاة. وقد ازدحمت الغرفة إلى درجة أنه تمت بسرعة جدولة صلاة ثانية لاستيعاب هذه الجموع الغفيرة. وعلى الرغم من أن المكان مغلق، شارك الجميع في الصلاة مع الاحتفاظ بالنظام. وسادت بعد ذلك أجواء البهجة والفرحة بهذا اليوم السعيد.
Here for this Eid prayers, we've got a wonderful international presence. We've got people in the community who've come from Saudi Arabia. We have people from Pakistan. We have people from India. We have people from all of the countries in Africa that are Muslims, and they all come together as one deen, as one ummah, to pray together.
There's somebody from every single corner of the world. There's people who are from countries you've never heard of. And for an American, we don't travel a lot. We don't often meet a lot of people from other countries. Just being a part of this community gives you a world view that is incomparable. You just can't compare it to anything.
Eid is to celebrate what we did all of Ramadan, also just to get the community together and have kind of a big finale of Ramadan. Also, there's lots of blessings that come along with Eid.
Today, subhanAllah, is a wonderful example of how Islam brings everyone, regardless of what country you are, what color you are. Everybody comes together. We've had 15,000 people here, all in peace. Everybody's happy, everybody's smiling, everybody's working together. I'm hoping that the United States press are here to take pictures today so that everybody else can see that Islam is a religion of peace.